Civil rights of Native Americans, Latin America, USA, and Canada. Canada. Settled by both the English and the French. There were several wars earlier on, but relations stabilized by the 1700s. Colonialists established families with natives. Pushed for rights several times. A multitude of treaties have been written throughout history. Some provisions were not upheld. 1876, the Indian Act was passed. It allowed the federal government to facilitate the assimilation of aboriginals into common culture, but included several discriminatory provisions, including the lack of vote, not allowing the drinking of alcohol, or leaving reservation without permission. The United States. The Vikings came into contact with the natives first. Columbus came in 1492. Relations were pleasant at first until they began to move west. Disease was common, such as smallpox and measles. In 1832, the government issued a vaccination program. Many natives took part in the revolution on both sides. In the 19th and 20th century USA, the Indian Removal Act of 1830. All land east of Mississippi could be exchanged for land west. The Trail of Tears. Some 4,000 Cherokee died to relocation. Resistance was significant. Battle of Little Bighorn, 1876. Wounded Knee, 1890. Many fought in the Civil War, World War I, and World War II. Distributed culture, land, and general disharmony. Some served as code-talkers and learned at training and trained at Camp Pendleton. Latin America. Several countries have sizable populations of Native Americans. Bolivia, Peru, Paraguay, Mexico, Guatemala, Colombia, and Ecuador. Peru. Spanish occupied and colonized Peru in the 16th century. They brought disease and social unrest. Indigenous people make up 31% to 45% of population. Most occupy areas common reserves. Both were racism and discrimination. Guatemala. Some 40% of population area are Maya ancestry. Latinos dominate indigenous Guatemalans. 1960 through 1996 Guatemalan Civil War. The guerrilla army of the poor, the revolutionary organization of armed people, the rebel armed forces, and Guatemalan Labor Party against the leftists. A vast majority were Maya Indians. Indigenous populations across the Americas had faced the redistribution, human rights violations, and economic and social issues.